You ever heard the phrase, I feel like I got hit by a Mack truck? Well, there are actually people that get hit by 18-wheelers on a regular basis on the highways of the United States. And it's devastating. Were you injured in a trucking accident? Well, if you were, stick around in this video and you're gonna learn all the things that you need to know to protect your rights and to hire the right attorney for that trucking accident case. Let's get into it. Trucking cases are different than a lot of motor vehicle accident cases. For one, they are largely subject to federal regulations under the Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration. There's a lot of rules surrounding the truck drivers themselves, specifically with respect to the hours of service, how many hours they can drive at a time, also the load that they're carrying, the specific licensure for the load that they're carrying. There's a lot of parties involved in these types of cases. You're talking about not just the truck driver, but the owner of the trucking company. You're talking about the manufacturers, the shippers, the brokers. There's a lot of different companies involved in trucking cases, and therefore a lot of different insurance policies or corporations that could be responsible for the injuries that you sustain if you are injured in a trucking accident. So, let's talk about what to do if you get into a trucking accident. First and foremost, given the enormity and the size and the speed and the weight of an 18-wheeler that's carrying a heavy load behind it, my sincerest hope is that if you are hit by a truck, that you are able to do any of this stuff. If you are physically able to, let's talk about what to do to protect your rights. Just like any other motor vehicle accident, and I've said this in videos before on my channel, you can check those out for what to do if you get in a car accident or a motorcycle accident. Just like those types of cases, if you are involved in an accident with an 18-wheeler, with a semi-truck, it's important that you do the following things. Obviously, one, make sure that everyone in your vehicle is okay. When a semi-truck, or an 18-wheeler as they would call it, hits you, the injuries can often be much more significant. The size of the truck, the weight of the truck, what it's carrying, how long it takes to slow down, especially when you're talking about accidents that happen on major highways as they're going over state lines or across the country. These types of injuries can be significant. So first and foremost, once the dust has settled a bit, look and make sure that everyone's okay. Call the authorities immediately. The next thing, if you are able to, is to take photos of the scene. Take photos of the roadway, the truck, the car, whatever vehicles are involved, the people, any injuries that they sustained. It seems crazy, but it's really important to use your evidence collecting device and collect that evidence. Next, take the names and addresses of people who were witnesses to the incident. Take their phone numbers, take their information so that you can contact them later. Cooperate with the police's investigation. Make sure that you give your statement to the police. Exchange information with the truck driver. You're going to want to know the truck driver's license information, the owner of the truck's information, the insurance information, and as much as you can get for information about what they're carrying and what's going on in the vehicle itself. Those are all steps that you would normally see in any motor vehicle accident, but it's particularly important in a trucking case because there are so many rules and regulations surrounding trucking that do not apply to a regular passenger car or even to a commercial truck for a landscaping company or what have you. When you are driving an 18-wheeler, a semi-truck, a tractor trailer, whatever they call it, depending on what type of truck it is and where you're from, if you are in an accident with one of those, there are so many rules. The Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration outlines all of those rules. And I can put a link to those rules and regs and that statute right in this video, and you can check it out for yourself. But the most important ones to know about are the load they're carrying, what they're allowed to carry, what they're licensed to carry, how many hours of service the truck driver has put in a row. Obviously, the rules of the road are important as well. And these things all play into the question of whether the truck driver and the trucking company were responsible for your injuries. So if you were involved in an accident with an 18-wheeler, a semi-truck, tractor trailer, whatever you call it, you gotta make sure you hire the right attorney. These are complex litigations with multiple defendants, with multiple insurers, with endless, deep pockets of money to fight you as hard as they can, but you have to fight hard and you have to have an attorney that knows how to do it, because these cases are usually devastating. The injuries are severe, life-altering, and the insurance companies have a huge amount of money to lose because the insurance policies for these trucking cases are so significant. So how do you know if you were in an accident, in what we would call a trucking accident, versus any other motor vehicle? Well, here's the types of vehicles that fall under the jurisdiction of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. You're talking about vehicles that are heavy. If they're 10,000 pounds or more and they're involved in interstate commerce, those vehicles fall under that administration. If the vehicle carries more than a certain amount of passengers, think coach buses, for instance, those vehicles are falling under the same regulations of the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. If the vehicle is carrying hazardous materials, think oil, think any other hazardous material, right? Those types of vehicles are falling under the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Also, specialized vehicles involved in a lot of commercial equipment, right? Those types of vehicles fall under the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. But really, you don't even need to worry about that. All you need to worry about is that you were involved in a motor vehicle accident and you were hurt. The next call, after you do all the steps and all the things I told you to do right when you get into an accident, is to call the lawyer and let us figure out who we're going to bring a claim against, who's responsible, under what rules and regulations. That's the beauty of hiring an attorney on a contingent fee basis. You don't have to pay me for my decades of expertise. So, if you are involved in an accident with a huge vehicle, you're probably involved in a trucking accident. But whether it's a truck or a car, it really doesn't matter to you. All you care about is, what are my rights? How do I protect them? The best way to do that is to call an attorney. This is what we do every single day. There are things that you wouldn't even believe are involved in cases like this that we know are routine every single day. And that's why you need to have good representation. Okay? There are things you wouldn't even think of that we have to deal with, from coordinating insurance benefits between the motor vehicle insurance and the health insurance, from how much the reimbursements go from your medical providers through your insurers, which insurer pays how much of it, who pays it first, and then who reimburses who. These are things that are just so far beyond what you need to be worried about when you are injured in an accident that it is so imperative that you go find a good attorney. And all of these little things that you wouldn't know about or appreciate as someone who's a lay person, someone who's not a lawyer, or someone who's not working in this industry, are all the things that we do right that add up to a generous, healthy, and appropriate, fair compensation for you and your family. In essence, that's how we get the big judgments and settlements, by doing all of those little things that most people and most lawyers might not even know how to do. You got to not just hire any attorney, you got to hire the right attorney. And the right attorney are the attorneys that handle these cases regularly. You do not want a jack of all trades. You do not want an attorney that handles personal injury cases 20% of the week, and divorce 20% of the week, and bankruptcy 20% of the week, because that attorney is 20% of the attorney that specializes in a given field. So go find the right attorney. I've done a video before on not going at it alone, not trying to negotiate with insurance companies by yourself. You're already wildly outgunned. You've got to go find a bazooka for an attorney to help you. Because if you don't, you're going to get rolled over and you're not going to get full compensation. Don't go at it alone. It's the worst thing you can do in these situations. So if you want to learn more about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the personal injury industry, specifically with respect to trucking cases, come back, subscribe to my channel, and learn more. And I'll give you all the game-changing tips you need to know to protect your rights if you get into a trucking accident.